Hello everybody, hi and welcome back to my channel. I'm Karen and this is Karen So Slowly. Welcome if you're new here. I hope you're all well. I hope you've had lots of time to do whatever it is that floats your boat. I thought I'd come back on. I know I made the very depressing statement that I wasn't going to be on for a few weeks, and basically I'm not. It's just I thought everybody would like to know what I've been up to this week, because I have had quite a busy week with it being my birthday and everything. And I put the vlog out, I think, Friday morning. There was a delivery from Amazon, because I'm thinking, listen, Amazon, I haven't ordered anything, which is very unusual for me because it's nearly every day. I think I'm on first name terms with the guy. It's the same delivery guy that comes every single time, and it is laughable the amount of times, especially this week, that he's been to the front door with a parcel. So I hadn't ordered anything, but this little adorable thing came. Isn't she gorgeous? So this is Pansy, everybody. She was in a box that was sort of a cardboard box that had like a house drawn on it, and that was supposed to be her little house. But I looked and all it was on was a sticker on the bag that this box came in saying, "Thank you for shopping at Amazon. We look forward to seeing you soon." Implying that it was just for me. Now, with it being, that was the Thursday, and with it being my birthday on the Monday, I did wonder, oh, have they sent me, like, I've reached like an amount I've spent. And they're sending little birthday gifts out for people who've spent so much on Amazon, or basically they haven't had an order off me in the last 6 hours and they're wondering if I'm all right. And I thought, oh, blimey, if that's the case, I better not tell Lewis, because he'll be like, you see, you order loads of them. So it was, yeah. So I put it on Instagram saying, oh, this rather cute mouse arrived, a bit random, but from Amazon. I can't make head or tail of it. And then I got a message of my lovely friend Vicky, who is the fibrosoist on YouTube and Instagram, and she said, Karen, it's from me for your birthday. There should have been a card. Well, there wasn't a card. I did think Amazon were just like sending me a little teaser out just to get me to spend again. And then I had my birthday on Saturday night, and the two lads were here and Beth was here, and we had a lovely meal at a pub not a couple of miles away from us. So I had a lovely weekend doing all of that. And then this week I thought, well, if I can't sew, and I can't see to sew, and I don't want to ruin garments I've started, like the lyre and things like that, I'll just watch sewing vlogs. But it was making me so frustrated, because I'm seeing them do all this lovely stuff. I get so mad with myself and think, oh, I could just be doing this. I want to do it. So what I've started to do is watch quilting videos and vlogs, and I'm watching a lovely girl again. She's called Rachel, and it's What Rachel Sews, and she's a pleasure to watch and very calming to watch, and makes you believe that you could do it and get away with it as well. Bought little bits and pieces, and I thought, well, I think my sewing friends who watch me would like to know what I've purchased. First of all, I did get some fabric. This came from Amo Threads, and I can't remember how much it was, but they may still have it. But there's 4 meters there, and I just liked it. I don't wear much red, but I do like it, and I thought that would make a lovely dress or jumpsuit come the summer when I get my eyes back. I thought I'll open my other 2 Mrs. Quilty boxes, and I'll open them with you. So this one is box number 2. I mean, it's empty because I've just emptied it all. But you get your gifts. You get 2 gifts, and you get them in one of these lovely organza bags, and you get your magazine, and it's quite a substantial magazine, and there's articles on different things to do with quilting, and there's your projects and your instructions and stuff like that. So and I started to think, why don't I just try, if I can cut some squares out, even if I use scissors, rather than the rotary cutter, because that's getting a bit dangerous because I can't see the edge of the ruler and where the blade is on the rotary, etc, etc. So even if I used scissors and an erasable pen, then I could just have those, and then if I can see, because I find this stuff moves around my eyes, and I'll be reading something and all of a sudden it'll just go out of focus and then it'll come back into focus again a few minutes later. So I think this stuff moves around over the lens, and if I was having a good day where I could see a little bit, I could just sort of string some bits together, some squares together, and start a bit of quilting, or at least have a go at practicing my 1/4 inch seams, because I'm seriously bad for maintaining the seam allowance when I'm sewing a garment. So I think with quilting it's quite important you stick to your 1/4 inch, and I've got my guide on my foot, my 1/4 inch sewing foot. So so this is box number 2, as I say. There's your magazine, and it's all to do with books in that one. Well, not reading books at the minute. So, and the fabrics you get are very much on a green theme, but they all coordinate with each other, which is nice. And I do like the quality of this fabric. I know I was saying there's a lot of quilters saying that the fabric's poor quality, but we'll see how it sews up. But the other one's sewed up fine in the other box, and it feels the same. And some of these fabrics are what you call low volume quilting term, and some of them are blenders, I think. Whoops. So I'm learning all the quilting terms, and yeah, I'm watching quilters. There's another lady who is, oh, she's called Karen. Stripy one there. So this is sort of a green and peach theme. And then there's that one. And that one. And the gifts were a lovely point turner. I thought that will go in my quilting stuff. And then you got a heat erasable pen, and I've never seen one like this. It's like it has a tip on it that way, and a flat edge, so you could do like a wider line. But at the minute I can't see it. When I mark a piece of fabric, if there's any pattern on it at all, I can't see the lime green colour. I probably can when my eyes are better. But that was the 2 gifts in the second box. This is the 3rd box that I got. And again, this magazine actually feels a lot thicker. I don't know if it's because there's more instructions. Oh, there's a bit of a plan there for a template. Oh, right, that's brilliant. I watched a vlog by Rachel from What Rachel Sews, and she made a coaster with a similar, very similar one to this. But that inspired me to go and buy a Dresden thing, because I thought I would love a quilt with those large Dresdens. So you can imagine that's going to be quite huge, but I would love a quilt with that on. So I've bought that. I don't know if I bought the right thing or not, but that's another thing I bought. Well, I want to say the gift was slightly disappointing. You get 2, 4, seriously, you get 6. You literally get 6 clear ones like that. According to this, they're worth $5.99. Well, I'm sorry, if that's how much Americans are paying, like literally $1 for a clip. Yeah, I'm not sure how true these values are. So the other gift you get in this box is a seam ripper. It's a very pretty seam ripper. And to be fair, I do need one. I think the ones I've been using are, apart from the one that came with my faff sewing machine, that one's still pretty sharp, but I'm using a tiny little prim one that I first got when I first got my first sewing machine. And I'm still using that now. It's still my go-to favourite, but yeah, it probably is a bit blunt now. So that one's nice, and it's got a nice fat handle on it for me to hold. And again, this is green and pink, again, the theme. And for some of it, I don't really go for green. However, if I was making something, I could combine, I think, these fat quarters with the fat quarters that were in box 2. Because they are, again, whereas that was green and peachy colours, this is green and pinky colours. So we get that one. That one's quite dark. Yeah. But then when I've been watching the quilting videos, they've used darker colours to sort of do borders within a quilt. So like I'm looking at fat quarters now, whereas I used to look at the sort of the pattern and think, don't know how good that would look on a quilt. You basically, from what I've seen, you can throw anything, any sort of pattern, great, big, huge pattern, small pattern, little pattern, no pattern at all, dark colours, light colours. You can chuck it all together, and once it's quilted and it just looks beautiful, whatever you've used. So yeah, I would like that as a fabric. That would be the sort of thing I would go for. I would never ever pick that as a fabric to do quilting or to do garment making or anything like that if it was just that pattern. However, that will make a fantastic strip between blocks or a blender, yeah, or a backing for a block or something. Another green and dark one. I'm not sure of that colour. I think that colour on the background's black on that. Another one with butterflies. I love me butterflies. So butterflies and moths, I think's on that one. Another blender. And that one in a different colourway. And then a random pink and black check. But they do all blend in together, so. A green spot on a white background, and then the green one. And I will keep you informed of my progress with that. Of course, I got my 6x6 ruler in my first Mrs. Quilty box, which is, I think is that one there. So that was one of the gifts in the first box. And then I ordered these, which are smaller than that one. So they are 1/2 inch, so that's obviously got your 1/4 inch seam allowance around the outside. And then this one is 4.5 by 4.5. But when I went to get the Dresden template, I went into Hobbycraft, and the first thing I saw were these boxes. And these, just for any craft project really, they had them in all different colours, and I'm actually going back this afternoon to get another one in a different colour, because my first thought was I'm going to use that to go to my sewing socials, because at the minute I bung everything in a great big carrier bag and everything's just rolling around the bottom of the carrier bag, and or a shopping bag, and yeah, I thought this would organise it. So when you open it up, you have like concertinas out, so you've got a big space in the bottom to put, you know, bigger stuff like your scissors and things, and then loads of trays on the top to put needles and threads and bobbins, etc, etc. And there's another purchase that I made off Amazon, some quilting needles for my sewing machine. So I thought that's what I'm going to use it for, my sewing social. So I got one, and they were £8.50, which I didn't think was bad. And I thought, well, I'll get it home and see what it's like, you know, for £8.50. But it is really quite sturdy and quite nice, and the purple obviously matches my faff. So I've decided I want to go back and get another one in a different colour, and I'm going to use that one for my quilting stuff, because I already have quite a collection. The other day was when I thought my eyes were a little bit better, and I'll just have a quick go at sewing, see what they were like. I went to use my normal, I use these pens, these heat erasable pens, these threaders, Fix On, which are brilliant. I went to use that, and the one that I've been using recently for the lyra, etc., has just completely ran out. And so I thought I'm going to order some more of those. I went on to order some. I saw you could get the ones just look like biros with refills. So as you can see, I've used the white, I've used the blue, and I can't tell if I've used the red or not, but that's what they look like. And then you've got refills. There was more than that. I think I've taken a few out and used a few, etc. But I always try, whenever, you know, top tip, whenever you use a heat erasable pen, I always try it on a scrap of fabric first, put the iron over it to see if it disappears. So I was using the, it's quite nice stuff, and I was using that to go on, to make into a half square triangle. Get me with me quilting terms. And you have to draw a diagonal line across the middle and then sew up the middle of that line, or sew to either side of that line, I think that one was. And then cut up that middle line. And I just thought, right, well, I'm going to do 3 lines, and I'm going to do my sew line, and my cutting line, because I don't trust me doing 1/4 of an inch, and I can't see the black line particularly when I'm putting it through the machine. So I'm going to do 3, and then I know which line I'm supposed to be sewing on. Anyway, did what I thought was a diagonal line exactly on the dia, and I made a complete mess of it. So I thought, right, I'll just take it off. And I hadn't tested these pens. I haven't. Anyway, ironed the line, and the lines appeared to come off. And whether my eyes were just particularly bad at that time, or whether, I don't know, I just looked at it and I thought, yeah, it's come off. So I went about ruling me 3 lines again, made another mess of it. I thought, oh, this is getting to the point where I'm going to say just pack it in now, because you can't see what you're doing. Took the thing off, and then when I noticed, when the fabric cooled down and it wasn't still, the heat of the iron wasn't still on it, and it wasn't on the ironing pad I've got, so it wasn't getting the heat from that, there was a faint line left by those pens from Amazon. So word of warning, if you have got those, test them, let the fabric cool down on your test piece, and then see if there's, you know, if there's still a mark afterwards, because I did waste a couple of bits of that fabric. Not that it was expensive or anything, but just as a heads up, So I had gone on and I'd ordered some more Friction pens, Friction threaders pens, and I got those. I think it was Andrea from Beyond the Pink Door had one of these. Somebody had sent her one at Christmas, and it's a thread cutter, and the blade's sort of in here between the thing, and I thought, well, that would go in my box to my sewing socials. I'll show you what I did get done. I did start on making the block of the month from the Mrs. Quilty box, and I managed to get that done, but it was quite annoying because the thread had come out of my needle on my machine. So I stitched I don't know if it was this seam or that seam over there, but I stitched all the way down that seam and thought, yeah, I finished that. And I picked it up, stopped the needle, took the needle out, lifted the foot and picked it up, and then it just fell to bits. And I couldn't actually see that there was no thread in the needle. And I'm thinking, what on earth has happened there? I've just stitched it and it's just come to bits. And I did wonder if I'd completely missed the fabric and not stitched it at all, but then I realised what had happened. So that's where I stopped. That was the end of my quilting journey for that day, because I couldn't see that the needle wasn't threaded. And you know, it helps if you can see the thread. So that's as much sewing as I've done. Yeah, and I can go for so long, and then I just think, you know, come on, this is that. Cutting those strips and doing that took me nearly 2.5 hours, and it was pretty intense. So Karen sews slowly, Karen quilts even slower. There you go. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, folks. Thank you very much for joining me today. Thank you for subscribing, liking and commenting. I love seeing your comments, and because I read the comments on my phone, I can blow them right up and I can actually read them with my glasses on, so that's quite good. So I know I said I wasn't going to be back, but if I continue to spend, which I always will, and I buy anything else sewing related or interesting, or if I get up to anything interesting, I will keep you informed and just do like a chatty vlog like this one, if that's something people are interested in. But fingers crossed, the eyes are still on for pre-assessment on the 13th, and I'll get them done the week after, I hope. Anyway, take care everybody. Thank you again for joining me, and I'll see you all soon. Take care now. Bye.